guys. Welcome back to Draw Along Doodles with Walker. So, today we're going to be making a crab. He's going to have sweet little segmented legs and his sweet little pinchers. He's a crustacean, so technically these all count as legs. So, he has 10 legs, just like a lobster would. All right. He is wider than he is tall, so we're going to start with it this direction. Now, to make the top curve of his head, let me twist y'all so you can see. To make the top curve of his head, we're going to arch over. And then right in the middle, we're going to put a little dip. Not a huge one, just a small dip. There we go. Now, we're going to come down and kind of bulge outwards with your line. Down and kind of bulging outwards with that line. So it's kind of like a very bad rectangle. Now, underneath that center part, I'm going to come down slightly and draw a straight line. That lets me know where the very back of the shell is going to be. From here, I'm going to concave this line in just a little bit. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I concave this line in a little bit. Now, as I'll see that, I think I'm going to stretch this back a little bit. There we go. It's an interesting shape. He's a curious little being. Now, on the edge of his shell right here, I'm going to come and put 2 small circles for his eyes. Beady little eyes. Okay. Now, we're going to start with the main segments of his leg. And they're all going to be over on the side, and they are going to overlap slightly. So we have a rectangle that's a little bit skinny. It's coming right there. We're going to have a rectangle that's angling a little bit further down. It's right next to it, about the same size. A rectangle that's angling down a little bit. Once again, this one's about the same length. And then one more. This one will angle down, but it'll be slightly shorter. All right, let's repeat that process over here. So if you want to use your hands to measure, you can kind of see how long you need to be even. And we're not perfect. We're not computers. So it is going to be a little bit different than a perfectly even piece. However, you'll be fine. There we go. And I ended up about the same place, which is excellent. Now, from here, when we draw the next segment of his legs, there's going to be a little bit of space in there for the connective tissues. So you'll notice he has little spaces in between those parts. So this one, I'm going to come and leave a little space. And then I'm going to continue to angle this one up. This segment is slightly shorter than the original one that's attached to his body. This one, I'm going to angle out. And we're still working with a shorter segment, about the same size as the first. Now this one's going to angle down slightly, and it will be shorter than the last 2 we've made. It will be almost square-like. And then this little one right here, he's the tricky one. We're going to create a right triangle. All right, time to repeat that on the other side. So I'm coming. Let's make this a little bit more clear before I attempt. All right, I'm coming out and up. This one's going to the side. There we go. And then I've got this one down here. And it's almost a square. It's smaller. And then this one has a right triangle. Exciting. All right, now for the last part of his leggy appendages. Right here, I'm going to come and go straight up and down. And he's going to have a sort of claw-like appendage. It'll look like a witch's nail. 1, and then they're going to keep going, angling down. 2. This one will be a little bit smaller. 3. And then this one comes right out from inside of that triangle. 4. All right, let's come to the other side. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, how much you bend these as you're going, how much you create a, first segment, second segment, third segment, determines whether he's more splayed out or looks like he's in the process of crawling. So if you want him to look more like he's crawling, you can adjust the legs so that they bend under more. Okay, now we need his 2 large pincher legs in the front. So I'm going to come right beside the eye, and I'm going to make a fairly wide rectangle. It even is going to bulge out a little bit on the sides, kind of like a barrel. Do that on the other side. Okay. Now I'm going to make this second segment. I'm going to leave room for the connective tissue just like I did on those last ones. This is going to be a shorter rectangle. There we go. Now, from here, I'm going to curve up, curve down and over. I'm not going to go up as high. I'm just coming down and over. And then I'm going to come back and touch the other side. So I'm going to go curving up, curve down and over, and then touch the other side. Remember, if you're having trouble following along, you can always pause it, or you can go and change the playback speed. So you can play it back at like half speed or 75 speed. All right, now we're going to make the other side of the claws. So from right inside that edge, not going to line it up totally. I'm going to go right inside. I'm going to curve up and in. There we go. Now I'm going to give him a jagged angle as it comes down. Okay, after seeing this, if you decide you want to pull these up a little bit, that's fine. I think I'm going to. Now, you may have noticed in other videos, I like to give them some freckles so that there's like some texture for their shell. Some are very smooth, but some have kind of barnacle buildup. So I'm going to provide this crab with like a little bit of freckling. And then I'm going to come right here and give him a little bit of indentation so I can see what's happening with his shell. Here we go. First things first, we're going to get his eyeballs. Little beady eyeballs. All right. Now we're going to come and make his shell. Okay. Now let's go with the first segment of the legs. There we go. Second segment of the legs. And the third segment. And I'm angling mine down a little bit more as I go. Okay. Now while we're over here, I'm going to go ahead and do this claw. Because I've gotten the other things on this side. So it will be okay for me to get this. One side of him's done. Okay, I'm going to turn my paper so it's a little bit easier to reach. Remember, you can always adjust your paper. You don't have to be looking at it right side up. If it is easier for you to reach something, just turn it. All right, first segments. Now for those second segments. There we go. And now for the last part. Excellent. Now we're going to come up and get his big claw. So 1, Have you ever been pinched by a crab? What did it feel like? Was it really hard or was it more of like a gentle, like, tiny nibble? I have never been pinched. I have not gotten that. I'm going to come right over here and add his little connective tissue in between. I'm using the thin Sharpie since it's not as big of a focus visually as the other parts. And I'm going to go do that for each section where the connective tissue is connecting those parts of the leg. I'm just coming in a little bit from the edge. Here we go. Excellent. Now I can come and add his little texture on his shell and his claws. Now crabs can vary enormously in color, so don't feel like you're buckled into the blue one that we did. You can go see what color crab you might really be interested in. All right. Well, it was great to draw with you guys, and we will see you again later here at Draw Along Doodles.